you want to do the intro then?
I'll do the intro then. Okay, let's do it again. I thought you were counting down.
Who brought you?
Yeah,
Wait, we don't
okay.
need to count down, we're in the same room.
That's true. Welcome to the Scottish Watches podcast. Videocast. It is a video. We're on video. Yes.
Oh, you're not on video
I'm
yet.
Not on
Video.
I'm currently blurred because we're waiting for the NFT tokens, Scott coin, to pay off, because that's what we do. And when we raise enough money, then this will fade.
No, we
from
actually got
being
in
blurred.
touch with the guys from the Flying Squad. They
right,
decided in a crime watch kind of way to
Ah,
blur
right,
your
okay.
face out.
I think, are you also altering my voice?
No, it's
No,
They know your
it's
voices.
saying they know
They have
heard
listened
that
to
one
a
before.
couple of hundred episodes.
We've heard that before, so
Yeah.
there we go. So yes, we three meet again. It's like Macbeth.
But we're going to keep Rick.
Who's dying?
Well, we're going to keep you covered up at the moment because we don't want to give the game away right at the beginning of the episode. We want you to kind of
Save
keep
the good
watching.
stuff save the good stuff to the end. You
the
got
good
to
stuff
lead
till
them
the
into
end.
at least past the first advert break.
True, that's right. Who have we got this? It's not the Grey NATO this week, is it?
No,
It's not Toppers or
No, Oris haven't done anything new recently that we need to advertise.
something to do with Fears. Or Fears not giving away free watches.
Oh, yeah.
Fears are going to be, and to support him, because we do like to support Nick, we thought that to encourage uptake of his free watch for a job interview, we would print out some flyers and put them around the job centres in Glasgow.
They're looking rather
So
good.
I thought the flyers were actually all right. So we'll print out a couple hundred of these, go around. We're in the East End of Glasgow film. It's
Nothing could go wrong.
nothing could go wrong. There's no unemployed people around here, is there? No.
What, do you mean there's no employed people around here? Is that what you meant to say?
So I think it'll go down really well. I don't know how many of these watches Nick's actually got to give away.
I hope it's a
Oh
lot.
no, give away, loan, not give away, loan.
Borrow,
The idea is
borrow.
similar. Is he including postage? I know he's posting them for free out. Is he including
Is
stamped
expecting
address?
them back?
Wait, is he giving out stamped addressed envelopes for the return? And if he's doing so, is he writing the address in beforehand, or is he giving away a watch and a free envelope?
With a
for people to
stamp
use
that
as
people
well?
will
With a
steam up.
Steam the
up.
stamps off.
Don't know. But anyway, should we not do a risk check? 'Cause I know what we kind of do around here.
It is, but I'm blurred out, so there's no point in me doing a wrist check.
Well, what would you be wearing
We're not blurring
if you
your whole
weren't
body
blurred
out,
out?
we're only blurring your face out.
All right, okay, so what I would be wearing, fancy wristwatch, would be the new Breitling Chronomat, the one with the Mini-Me UTC.
Yeah, have you seen all the memes about this one?
Yeah,
No,
further
I haven't
proving you've
actually.
Oh,
noticed.
they're good. There's all kinds. The best one I saw was a meme and it was showing the watch. And for you guys that don't know what we're talking about, you should be watching the video because there's going to be a little graphic. Hey!
Graphic.
It's like we planned this. It's got the main watch face, and then it's got what you would maybe an Illuminox. It would be a small compass.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like
On
what you
the
would have-
strap.
like a tactical compass.
a little
or something,
wart.
wouldn't it? Yeah.
So it's got a mini me wart, and it looks
the
like a
old-
like.
It's like a wee molly.
Was it the Chronomasters, the digital Chronomasters you used to be able to get with a wee
A wee
analog, wee
meaning small.
meaning small, and it's Marks and Spencer for the record. And yeah, did we agree that? Yes.
Focus, Rick.
Focus.
What's the
It's
programme?
important.
Come on.
It's important.
So the
focus.
memes, they were doing
Yes.
one that looks like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Yep.
Krang,
All right,
where you've
okay.
got the little face, and also the guy at Total Recall, can't remember his name, and he's got a little,
what was the name of him? That's going to annoy me now.
yeah.
No, not a total.
Leave a
fan.
message in the comments, let us know the name of that character in Total
guy
Recall,
in
but that's what
taxi,
it looks
isn't
like.
Was it the guy that drives the wee taxi?
No, he had the extra hand.
Oh, so he did.
No, it was the wee baby thing that comes out like this.
Okay, so there we
one.
go.
Yes.
That's what I would be wearing. Ricky, what would you be wearing? What are you wearing?
What am I wearing, or what would I be wearing?
Well, what are you wearing?
I am wearing my Gerald Perregaux Laureato.
How do you pronounce that,
Infinity.
sorry?
Are we going Scottish, or are we going how it's actually said?
On you go.
It's
You
a-
choose.
Gerard Perregaux.
Yeah, big
Laureato Infinity. So it's the one with the onyx dial and the rose gold buttons.
Cool.
Excellent.
And I put it on the. I have it on the bracelet, but I put it in the rubber strap for the summer.
How long have you had it?
Since February.
Cool.
And they've actually just that was actually a really good little bit of customer care. Actually, they had a 2-year warranty on them, and I got it from Vempe in London. And Gerard Perregaux announced, I think it was last week. Yeah, last week they announced that they've upped the warranties to 5 years. I happened to get an email because I'm on their mailing list, but I got a random phone call from Vempe, and they said, we're just phoning you to let you know that you bought a watch this year and we've upped the warranty, so make sure you scan your little QR code on the card. So actually quite, for me, I think that's pretty good service, the fact that they are phoning folk out. So
Tudor
fair
did
play to
that
them.
a couple of years back.
And
They upped
quite
their
a few have
warranty.
done it. And Omega have done it as well. And I think GLC did it as well a few years ago, didn't they? Up to 7 or
Yeah,
8
but
years.
Tudor did it retroactively. They went back a
Yeah,
year
so
and
did
said,
Omega.
oh, good.
Yeah, I think Omega did it. It was any watches bought before, I think maybe 6 months pre to that or whatever it was. So yeah, fair play.
Cool. Go on then. What are you doing?
It's like he's never been away.
I mean, Missy
we
L
can
doing the show
wish.
notes. We just need to.
Listen, he doesn't get enough credit.
No, he doesn't.
He
Missy
gets
L
no
really-
credit whatsoever.
I
'cause
did,
I know.
didn't even see the little comment someone put. They said, I thought you'd been saying missile L or something.
No, it was Missy. L.
Missy L.
Like Missy Elliott or something.
Yeah.
No, he does a great job. We're going to have to try and figure it. 'Cause I've invited him on the show, and he says, "Well, I'll come on, but not right now." And I'm like,
I noticed on the show notes you still have the byline on them. You're not even giving him his own byline.
It's just because I create the show notes.
He creates the show notes.
He doesn't even have a picture in WhatsApp. He doesn't have a
That's
picture on
true,
Instagram.
that is
He's
right.
a very secretive spy.
But that's is that not because he's not supposed to be on Instagram because he's like 12 or something? I
Do you know
thought,
something we don't?
well, I thought he was younger than we suspected.
I've told you before
he
about
told you that.
self-incrimination.
Oh right, okay, that he was 16, that
Self-incrimination.
he was still at school.
Yes, he's still
Right,
at school.
okay.
That's why we don't pay him, because it's
Alright.
illegal to enter a formal contract with somebody. But no, he does a great job. So
He does,
big shout out to
and
Missy L.
he's got the new format that he's tried out.
Yes,
It's like the halfway house between podcast and this
it's a slideshow.
is the bit in the middle where he uses PowerPoint.
He does.
He's also got a very good nuanced sarcasm.
Have you noticed that?
Lovely little bit of sarcasm runs through everything, which for a
Yes.
for someone as young is great, and for an American is even better. I mean, it's very impressive.
Talking about people knowing things that I was.
Oh, my
surprised
wrist
to know-
check you
Oh
were
yeah,
asking
sorry,
about.
yeah. Go
yeah.
on then, go on.
So today is the Nodus sector dial sport. What one's this? Sector. Just call it the sector.
Hold on a second. We've just started filming. You were wearing a Rolex a minute ago. Were you not?
Try not kill the illusion of the movies.
Hold on a second. You sat down. I am sitting here going, I'm going to ask him what he's wearing. He's going to tell me he's wearing his Rolex Batman because that was what he was wearing 5 minutes ago.
Whoa. You're not in a place to talk to anybody about things like that when you're wearing an Apple Watch that you've put a plastic protective case on it and a screen protector.
That's because that's because I couldn't get the really expensive one like you've got.
Anyway,
I had
so
to
this
protect
watch
it.
from
Yes.
Nodus.
Nodus, yes. Tell us about Nodus.
No, I'm wearing this because it's the first time it's been on film.
All right. Okay.
And it's my
It's a great colour
favourite.
dial as well.
Yeah. Thankfully, we
It is
will
nice.
have things to
It's a great
talk
looking
about.
watch, that.
Cool. Pass it. Does it go,
Pass it round.
Pass it round.
Does it go blurry now? Does it passes?
Yeah, look, we'll
Blurs
keep that
out.
part just in focus.
And then does it when it comes out this end? Is it a Rolex that comes out
no,
this
it's
side?
not. No, Adrian isn't here. Adrian was going to be here. We were going to do a prank where we were going to unveil Adrian, take a bag off his head, and say this is Rick with a voice changer.
Was that bag kind of like a Hessian sack that you might put? Kind
might
of
put beans in
organic grown products.
I
in?
thought that was what was going in this. I thought we were hiding Adrian in here.
No, that's where you're going later.
Oh right, okay, right. Oh,
You
dear.
go back in here.
Right, go
belt.
back in about like a ventriloquist dummy.
It's a great summer watch, that, isn't it?
Love
It's
it.
a really good summer
Out of
watch.
stock at the moment, back in stock probably start of June. So depending what time you guys see this video, check the description or check the podcast show notes. Most of the details in there.
Yeah, it's a really nicely put together watch, that, for the money.
300 quid.
I know.
Really?
Yeah, 300
Unbelievable.
quid, yeah.
300 bucks.
£300. I was just about to ask.
I mean,
how much
look,
it was.
look at the bracelet and everything for 300 quid. It's absolutely. You
at the dial, look at the
genuinely
colour.
quite happily pay 600 quid for that.
The old man having to remove his glasses while he looks at it. Yeah, that's for £300.
Yep.
That's
It's insane.
astonishing.
It's right up there with Zelos.
Yep.
So
You good?
should we unveil the star
What do we
attraction?
do? We just go like that.
Well, star
Can't click my
attraction.
fingers.
Let's not.
Starfish attraction.
Let's not big it up too much. Do we like to
I
unveil
like
them?
how these jokes are going over the head of some people. We've also got a special helper today.
We
We
have.
do.
Do you want to introduce the special helper before we introduce
the
you?
special helper will shout from the side when I say, Christy, say hello.
Hello.
That's our special helper today who is monitoring all things audio
Yes.
to make sure that I don't pull the cable out the bottom of the microphone and upset everybody.
Yeah, again,
As has actually, it wasn't me last time, it was Landon.
it was all of them.
Yeah.
They all do it.
It sat in his mic and pulled the wires out the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, there
Oh,
we go.
we're in
You can tell-
Glasgow.
You can tell we're in East End.
Yeah, not an ice cream van this time, it's a car alarm.
Yes.
Joy.
That's one less Audi in the road.
Right, so should we
So how
unmask
you do it?
Rick?
Did I just go like this and go?
So what do you think? Was it worth the wait?
We can hear the screaming from here.
The YouTube view count goes.
I think that's unfair.
End transmission.
I think so. I rose between two thorns. It's as simple as that.
Right, okay.
I decided that, you know,
Well, hold on, let's.
Ben
Dentros.
Clymer has the Aaron's jumper thing. I thought it was time to reintroduce the V-neck into the watch
Well,
world.
and the dad belly as well.
He used to be bigger.
I did
He used to be bigger.
It's taken 2.5 years to get to looking like this.
So that's the reason you've been
absolutely.
hiding.
Hiding, yes.
Now, what is the real reason? What's the story? Because some of the listeners and viewers and whatnot, they don't know why you've never appeared on film. They don't know the history. What is the real reason?
Nobody really knows. It is a mystery.
Yeah, that's why we're
That's
asking.
what I'm asking you.
But it is a
Because,
mystery.
frankly,
No, because you were always the camera guy, and I was always doing Christie's job because somebody had to listen to the stuff. So now that the Grey NATO and Houdinki
That's
have
what
had,
it is.
deflection.
now that they've
Notice
had
that deflection.
they've had a conscious
Uncoupling.
decoupling, conscious uncoupling, unconscious decoupling, whatever way around it is. There's an opportunity, so we thought, well, let's get onto video. And,
Yeah, but 2.5 years ago, you
let's-
didn't know they were going to do that. So why are
It's
you
a
keeping
plan,
your face
it's a
hidden?
plan. Because we had to build up to it.
Did we?
Imagine
Did
what
we had to
look
build
at,
up to
Look at what you've been able to do when it's been just you. Now look at
Yeah.
it, and how much better is it going to be?
What have we managed to do when you've not been here?
Everything.
That's the one.
There we go. So it'll allow us to do a whole lot more with us all being on camera. We can do Instagram lives. We can do other things that don't spring to mind right now, but who knows? So there you go. And just it builds up. We've managed it. We need to think of something else now.
All I'm thinking at the moment is that scene from Line of Duty. What was
I Am
No
H.
comment. Was
No
that, is that is that the one in the
I never
interview?
watched it. Did you watch Line of Duty?
I did.
He didn't, did you?
No, you
I
didn't. But you are that character. No comment.
No comment. All right. No
Somebody's
comment.
falling asleep in the corner.
Listen intently.
Concentrate. This is what she looks like. She's concentrating. Student falling asleep.
Constipating.
So why haven't you been? Why is you're basically what you're saying is the reason that you've not been on video is no comment.
No comment.
Right, okay.
No comment.
Fair enough. But yeah, I've been away
I have.
because it was hell for leather for almost
It
2
was.
years. Then Brexit happened, and you thought that would only be 1 month.
Yeah,
And you said you'd be
and-
back in January, and it's June almost.
June almost, and Brexit is still with us, unfortunately.
It's not going
And
away anytime soon.
yeah, it's not going to be any time soon, and we've got the joys of Scottish independence now to come, and all that will hold. But that's for a different podcast, one we haven't started yet.
Okay. To go along with Scottish clocks.
Scottish clocks, yes. Let's do that.
So there we go. Face reveal done. Hopefully it was worth the wait.
Yeah, 2.5 years, and this is what you waited for.
Yeah.
Back
Back to podcasting.
to podcast.
A face
Back
for
to
radio.
audio, back to audio.
Oh
only.
yeah, that's it. A face for radio. There you go. There you go.
Cool. All right. So we've mentioned the Grey NATO a couple of times. What's the story there?
So about a year ago, I think it was, maybe slightly longer, the Grey NATO, which is Jason Heaton and James Stacey. James Stacey, well known for
Like a
working with
shooter.
Houdinki. What?
Like a shooter?
Like a shooter? Don't understand.
Cameras?
Oh,
Like a-
like a,
like a shooter.
Like
Not like a shooter.
I thought it said like a shooter. I thought, what's he done? What's he been implicated in now?
Ricky, do we
Like
have to-
a shooter.
do we
Well,
have to
allegedly, because he was shooting. What was he actually using? A Canon or a Sony?
He said that was just sitting in the background. He never inhaled.
You never nailed it, right? Okay. So they announced a few years ago, long-running podcast, that they were tying in more closely with Houdinki. You would now access their show notes, etc., via Houdinki's website, and the advertising that was available on Houdinki was being advertised in the Grey NATO. So you heard the likes of Bremen and others, probably Oris. I don't know if Topper Jewelers ever did anything, but the usual suspects advertising on the Grey NATO. And then in the last episode, which was out on Monday, just out,
Right?
they announced that was no more. That they were moving back to their old format of one episode a week from one episode a fortnight with Houdinki, and they wouldn't be doing the advertising through Houdinki. Whether that also means that Jason Heaton and James Stacey are away from Houdinki, I do not know. I have not looked.
So what did they say on the show about it? Because I've not actually listened yet.
No, I've not listened to it.
That was all. That was all they basically said, was that he's giving them a bit more freedom. They're going to be able to put their
Allowed
episode,
to explore more opportunities.
exploring more opportunities.
Lots of code words.
They weren't going to have to be tied into the schedule that Hodinkee gave them for their advertising. So if they had a particular advert for someone, they weren't going to have to wait for the episode to go out for that advert. I didn't really understand that as a comment, because we just rolled the advert on to the next one, but there we go. And it would allow them to go back to a weekly rather than a fortnightly. But
they'll lose being on the front page of the world's biggest watch website.
I assume so. I mean, I looked this morning and it's still on Hodinkee. So whether the historical episodes will stay there,
They won't do it.
but they certainly moved said that they were reintroducing the Greenato website and were building something in the background in order to promote it. So I guess watch this space. I don't know whether it means that they'll move even further away from being purely about watches and keep going in their adventure and their cars and their
Diving,
culture
all
and
sorts of
diving and all the rest of it.
Right.
More lifestyle rather
More
than
lifestyle, but then that's would seem to be in the direction that Hodinkee are moving in, more lifestyle. So you'd have thought it made sense to stay. I suspect it's more that it takes, as you know, a long time to produce a podcast, and Hodinkee are now a multi-million pound company.
Yeah.
And I suspect the return on investment they are getting for sponsoring a podcast in comparison to the amount of time they would spend selling a single limited edition of a limited edition blows it completely out of the water. So it's probably just not worth them doing. But we'll see, maybe we get them on the show. Maybe
I think we should.
Get them on and ask.
But I mean, obviously we had Cara on the show. It's a really squeaky
It's
couch,
a
isn't
really
it, Rick?
squeaky couch.
It
The
is.
squeaky couch, and I've got a sore knee, so I'm having to stretch my leg.
Carpet burns?
No, not carpet burns, thank you very much. I bashed it with a tractor.
Did you know?
Did you know?
I did. There we go.
Is that code words as well?
There's no code words there. It was
I
a
bashed my
tractor,
knee with a
and I
tractor.
bashed my knee.
You did.
Simple as that.
Right, okay.
Simple as that. I
No.
came off worse.
So we had Cara on the show for episode 250, which you weren't around for, which was brilliant. And it went great. We knew that she'd left Hodinkee at the time, but we were there to speak to her. It wasn't about who did you work for. And obviously she'd been there for a long, long time. You doing okay there? You want a wee
old man.
cortisone shot? You want
Yeah,
anything?
does
shot in the
feel like that. A wee shot in the knee.
Have you shot in the back of the neck? Yes. So yeah, she was on the show, but we knew she'd moved on. She was doing her own kind of thing as well. There's been a few people. Joe Thompson, I think he left at the start of the year.
Joe's away.
Yeah,
I think it sounds like Hodinkee.
Ben's
if
been
anything.
promoted.
Yeah, it almost sounds like Hodinkee's undergoing a kind of transformational period in terms of who they are and what they are, compared to where they've been. So, very
So,
interesting to
which
see.
means there's space for us, which is why we're doing this.
For you, maybe.
Well,
Goodbye.
me. Okay.
I mean, we are the second last podcast they would buy.
Yeah.
So we're aiming for that number one spot at some point. May get there. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, good luck to them. It's a podcast that's always stuck to its guns. It's always been about lifestyle, cars, mountains, diving, and I think you mentioned earlier, or you said off camera, they've got a new book out as well.
Yes, Jason Heaton has written a book called Depth Charge. I
So
assume.
about submarines.
I assume the main character is a doxer, but I could be wrong. I don't know what the.
Oh, is it fiction?
It's fiction,
Yes,
yes.
it's
Oh yeah,
fiction.
it's a fiction. He's
Working
gone into.
fiction,
I think it's romantic fiction actually.
So it's a Hodinkee review.
It's a Hodinkee. We've been
Edited.
sponsored by Oris or Bremen or somebody. Anyway.
Oh well. Yeah, but we did say, speaking of sponsorships and whatnot, we were going to have Adrian on here, but he's away because he's launching coffee.
The Coffee King.
Yes.
Is it that he's actually in Colombia? Is that the story that
No,
we're
No,
not
that's
being
the
told?
other imports.
Is that the
he's
that's
bringing in.
right? Okay.
Parallel import. That's a parallel import.
Yeah.
Is that? Have we checked
Have we checked what?
the tea chest that we've not
It's
been?
not tea. It's not tea.
That
It's
we've
not
not been
tea,
stung.
not tea.
Right. Okay.
No. Your niece is going to be in this later on, and the
okay.
saw goes through the centre, so it'll be fine.
Yeah,
It's all
okay.
good. But no, Adrian is launching his own coffee brand. Obviously, he's all about talking watches, drinking coffee, and banning people in Facebook groups. But yeah, it's
Let
going
me
to be.
guess. It's called Bark and Jack Coffee.
It is indeed.
Oh, there you go.
BJ Coffee
Original.
with a new logo,
Yeah.
which is a bit divisive even. Some people think it's really nice. Some people think it's not that great.
I
But
think.
I think it works well with the coffee.
Right, okay.
And as an overall thing, it could work good. But he's going to have to go around and change these logos on everything because he hasn't yet. So you've got the old logo, new logo.
So is that a Christopher Ward issue?
No, it's in the same position.
Right, okay.
It's just different.
Right, okay.
Different kind of
Different
font
font,
and
custom
stuff.
made and stuff. Do you not watch his videos anymore?
I haven't actually watched one of his for a wee while, if I confess. It's a scandal. A scandal. I haven't watched much in the way of YouTube recently. Don't know why. Just not been doing it.
Have you not
has that
checked
YouTube
out-
ban been really pesky for you?
It has been a bit annoying.
Have you not checked out the Timepiece Gentleman yet?
I haven't. I've heard you speaking about it, but I've not actually watched it.
It's good. I'm trying to get him on the show.
Right, okay.
But he's even worse than me for replying and leaving people on red. So no, it's been going. His channel been going for quite some time. He's been selling watches for a number of years. He's been in and out of prison before that,
Right.
and it's kind of a bad guy turned good story. And he's absolutely set YouTube on fire.
Right, okay.
And it's not bought views and stuff like that. Pride and opinion. So it's really good. You should check it out. He's doing lots of collabs. He had Archie Luxury on as a special guest.
I did actually see a tirade. I didn't understand most of the
Oh,
language.
brilliant.
I needed to get Dave to probably interpret,
Yeah.
but
it was
I
good.
did see him having a bit of a tirade at Archie. On some
We'll
sort of
put some
clip
links,
somewhere.
or we might even, because we're doing a video, I'll cut in a part of the video there. But no, he's a very charismatic guy. He's doing well. He's high rollering over in Dallas. He's got like a Richard Mille.
Right.
He's got one of the new Black Panther APs. So I would recommend everyone checks his videos out. They're really good. You might like the guy, might not like the guy, but he's a big John Cena looking dude, very charismatic, huge biceps, not jealous whatsoever. And he's now got a female employee, and he made a big song and dance about this.
Right, okay.
And some people were saying, oh my God, he's gone the whole sexist route. He's got this stunning Instagram model with fake boobies. And I'm thinking, yeah, but for 16 weeks he's not had her and he's grown massively. And he's eye candy for the girls. Every time a guy goes into his shop with daughter, wife, or girlfriend, they're busy looking at Anthony, not the watches. Well, the guy's busy looking at the watches. So check it out. We'll include a couple of little snippets here. Hopefully we'll get a copyright strike on that, and fingers crossed we can get him on the show.
Where did you get this guy from?
I cannot disclose that, obviously, because oh my God, that's beautiful. What I would do is I would take a watch, stack one with a watch, and do like a, just pretend like it's this bracelet.
If you're following along, you know that every week we have a sales goal of a number we like to hit to stay on track to hit 35 million by the end of the year. And this quarter, our weekly sales goal is $538,462 a week.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what else has been happening?
New watches.
There have been a few.
watches.
So
Been a few. Quite a variety as well.
Breitling, which I mentioned as my fancy watch for this week.
Yeah.
The new 44mm, you don't like them?
No, for me, there's
junky.
there's bits of them that I quite like. The bracelet looks amazing. I quite like that kind of barrel. I don't know how you describe it. It's almost
like
semi-integrated, and they look like little cylinders, don't
Yeah.
they, that are linked together. That looks good. I don't dislike it. I'm not going to rush out. Put it this way: I'm not rushing out to buy one or get myself on a list for one. But actually, it's not a watch that I'll look at and think.
Have you ever had to get on a list for any watch that you've bought, to be fair? Just say no. It's fine, we'll move on.
No, we'll say no. But I'm not kind of in the. I'm not looking at it going, oh my God, that's horrific. You know, it's just not my aesthetic. But I think there's an appeal to it. I even quite like the little sub.
Quite like
the little sub over people's heads yet again.
You should be watching the video.
All about the video. But yeah, the little sub. Is it a second time zone?
yes,
Is it UTC?
yeah, UTC.
I quite like
I really
it.
like it.
So it's a
Nice.
little mini watch part. Is that a quartz or is that a mechanical as well?
I
guessing it'll be
assume
quartz.
it's quartz.
I'm guessing it'll be a wee quartz module.
I did try to find out on the article,
In
but it
fact,
didn't
it's
tell you.
definitely going to be
it's
quartz,
got
isn't it? I mean, the price point is definitely.
It's not like got a
only-
DLC.
Exactly.
If only there was a shop nearby that would sell these things where we could go in and just speak to
Lanes?
individuals about it.
No. Breitling have got their own boutique.
Breitling do have one.
There's one boutique, yeah. Are they also still? Are they in it? I know they've opened that boutique in Glasgow. Have they taken it out of all the other retailers, or is it still in like some Mapper and Web and stuff?
Doesn't listen to the show, does he?
podcasts, doesn't listen.
Not at all.
Me?
Not on it, not listening to it.
They're still in
Not
Mapper
a
and Web,
details
aren't they?
guy.
Probably. I mean, when Mappin and Webb had Omega, when they were getting their boutique refit,
They've
or their
still
new
got it.
boutique,
They've still got
they still
it,
kept it in there.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
interesting to see.
they don't want to send people up the road in case they get lost in Buchanan Street and end up losing the sale. But there we go.
So Breitling, other things this week, which I
Grand
assume.
Seiko.
Well, Grand
Grand
Seiko. So we've had the updated Rolex Explorer. We've had these new Grand Seiko GMT Rolex Explorer lookalikes. We've got the Christopher Ward Rolex Explorer lookalike, and we've got the Steinhardt Rolex Explorer lookalike, which is a video coming out soon on the Unbox channel. Of the four, which is the best value for money?
Christopher Ward.
Yeah, you get, it's pretty hard to argue value for money with a Christopher Ward.
Not because they sponsored the previous episode, but
mean,
because the watch is actually decent.
Yeah, and it's what's the retail in it?
900 quid.
Yeah,
But you
exactly.
can.
Oh, you can always get a discount.
almighty.
Yeah, there's always a discount. Just search.
The problem we've
Just
got,
search
Rick,
discounts online.
the problem is we can't edit out the pauses when your brain has to catch up because it's a
Yeah,
video.
Clunk, clunk, clunk.
Just give us a minute. I'm getting used to this new
You're
format.
warming
I think value for money, you can't argue for the Christopher Ward. I mean, you know, it's a fraction of the price of any of the others.
Yeah.
But which is the best looking? Is the Grand Seiko better looking than the Rolex?
No.
You prefer the Rolex or
I'd-
prefer the Christopher Ward?
Bezel in the Rolex is the right size for the dial,
Or okay.
I think.
The new,
Con-
the up to date one or the old?
They're just the same, Rick. Come on.
the
No,
Atlas
I
ones.
mean like the old one, the 11570. I got that right?
No
Like
idea.
the previous Polar Explorer, the 40mm one,
You mean
the recent
Swiss
ones.
only
the Swiss only,
dial ones, that kind of
the
generation?
one from the 90s, early 2000s, versus this Maxi case one, which is the
I
42
actually,
one.
it's not. It doesn't appeal to me. The Rolex one, actually, of all of these things, you know, the whatever you want to call it, the original or whatever, in terms of that aesthetic, that does nothing for me. I think it's pretty meh. I actually quite like the new Grand Seiko.
I think
it's
they're
a
lovely.
good looking watch. The only thing that really annoys me about it though is, and it's a kind of persistent thing with Grand Seiko, is they do a good bracelet. The quality of the bracelets are really good. They're just, there's something about them, and also on that particular one, that new case shape is quite angular and it's got kind of a nice shape to it. If you look at where the end link goes into the case, it just doesn't marry the case. It's a good fit, obviously, in terms of technically as it fits in and everything, it's good, but it's too low. It doesn't, the lugs kind of come in, it drops to the case, and you've got a lip on the inner part of the case. It's just something about it. I think it looked excellent on a strap, but I don't know why it just doesn't look great in that. But the actual watch head itself looks really good, and with the ceramic bezels, I think it's, and the colour adds something to it.
When's the last time you bought a Grand Seiko?
What was the last Grand Seiko I bought? That's a good question. That was a King Seiko, so that's not Grand Seiko. The last one I think I bought would be the
Godzilla?
Godzilla, I think would be the last one.
The Jew one? Is that what you're saying?
Actually, do you know, there's the silver birch, white birch, silver birch.
Yeah.
Silver
The
birch.
silver birch. Is it nice?
It's so nice.
Is it nicer than the snowflake?
By a country mile.
Is it really?
I don't have a snowflake. Obviously, the snowflake's titanium. That doesn't bother me. But it's a nice style, but it is quite subtle. You have to kind of jink it about to catch the light to get that texture. I've got
Jink is the Scottish term for move.
jink it about. Yeah, I've got the
Shugle.
I've got the shugle. Yeah, shugle. I've got the stainless steel cased frostbite one, the limited edition blue
Is that the
dial.
blue?
The blue.
I've never heard that one. Had somebody else
Yeah,
gave
that,
it a different name recently?
frostbite.
Is it frostbite?
I think there's
never heard it
there's
called
various
that
names for
Yeah.
it, but I've got that one and I really like it. But the silver birch, I don't know why I call it white birch, but the silver birch is the dial is, the texture on it's absolutely amazing, and it doesn't need to be moved around or jinked about in the light to catch it. It's just a very three-dimensional textured dial. Just the finishing level and quality on it, the movement, everything about it, to me, is really a stage up. But to be fair, it's also a stage up in price. I think it's 8K neck of the
Right,
woods.
okay.
I think it's up at that kind of level. So, but it's absolutely amazing when you see it. If anyone sees one, get your hands on it. It's really, really good.
And I assume available from the eponymous James Porter and Son.
Yes, I think Simon had in fact,
few.
Simon received a couple, I believe, before, pre the date of them actually launching. So he had them on the day they launched.
Cool.
And I think, unlike other brands, broadly
You can
available
get them.
for anyone that decides they want one. You
Yeah.
know, but it's for me, I think it's one of those ones as well. The more you see it, for me certainly as well. The first time I saw it, I was like, okay, this is amazing, but didn't immediately go, I have to have this, because I've, to be fair, got a few other GSs. But every time I see a picture of it, I think, oh yeah, that's really good. So that could well be something maybe down the line I think I might end up with.
Cool.
Great looking watch.
And so Timex have also got a new collab out, which I assumed
Another collab.
you would know something about because
Because I posted it on our Instagram.
Well,
Yeah.
A, because you posted, but B, because you like know dance music stuff, and this has got some sort of dance music tie-in or electronica, allegedly.
Whose review did you read that from?
Oh, begins
Stinky.
with a ho and ends with a dinky.
I know little. What?
Begins with the whole ends and a dinky. Something totally different there you've got. Yeah,
Well,
you just pulled that.
Do you
line
know
out.
anyone that's got a Filofax?
Yeah, hold on. I need to check my notes.
Hold
here.
on. Filofax with no
the
gold.
80s have just called.
Hold on.
Oh, he's now chewing his
I'm
glasses.
chewing my glasses and checking my show notes.
He is the James May. He really is.
No. I'm not accepting that.
He's the less intelligent.
I'm not accepting that at all.
I love the fact you've got, how many, have you got red pen on in there as well?
Of
Or
course.
is that the teachers? Is that the teachers' marks?
That's where stuff's been written for me.
Oh, hang on. Somebody puts notes into your Filofax for you.
No.
Has no one in your universe heard of a computer or an email? This explains why you don't communicate very effectively.
Yes. Leave that there.
Leave that there.
Yeah.
What were you checking?
What were you checking?
I was checking for something that I thought I'd written down. It turns out I didn't write it down. So that kind of ruins. Like I've got a mobile phone. I've got an iPad. I've got a Filofax. And I've got some bits of paper. And it turns out on none of those things have I written down the fact I actually needed.
Perfect.
These are the.
Excellent.
Right, I'll tell you what I know about this,
Right,
which
okay,
is
go on.
less than you, but
Yeah.
it'll sound like I know more.
Okay.
It's
Did
a
you edit it?
collab,
I said that.
yes,
Uh-huh.
that's already sold out,
Okay.
and it's
just
got a
move
little
on.
ghost thing on it.
Which I think it was a
The
kind of
end.
it was an underground, well, not underground's the wrong word, kind of boutique niche music label, and the Ghost was their little kind of logo and stuff, and he's kind of helped design this piece as
And
a piece of whatever.
is the watch based on something that Timex already do, or is the whole
Yeah,
thing?
I'd say so.
I would.
Looks
I
like a
don't
dial
know
swap,
the
a
Timex
crown.
catalogue well
Yeah,
enough,
yeah.
but it doesn't look like something hugely new in terms of a model. I would be guessing for a small number that they've done, they probably aren't going to tool up for a completely new watch. But yeah, I mean, it's aesthetically, it's a good looking watch. What
It's
is it,
getting a lot of coverage.
$100 or something? isn't it?
$99,
Yeah.
all
It's
sold
not-
out. So we probably shouldn't bother talking about it anymore because you're never going to get one.
Well, why don't we talk about
That's why we talk about Patek, when they launch something.
Damien from the car guy's got one of those green dial Patek Nobles.
Yeah. They hit the market pretty quick, actually. I think two people I know that work in the trade kind of posted pictures in the last couple of weeks saying, hey, picture of it going, it's arrived. And they've been told they're pretty much getting one each.
Yeah.
So it's that they're going to go in and out the door to the VVVIIPs, whatever you want to call them.
And is Stern okay with them being shown on Instagram, seeing as he doesn't like Zoom, according to?
I mean, to be fair, it's launched, isn't
interview.
it? It's out there, so it's done. it's a lot of hype for a watch that you just can't get. Let's be honest.
Do you like it? I mean, the
the-
model
what,
in general, or and
what, the
green one?
Nautilus?
Yeah.
No.
Do I like it? I don't dislike it. I think it's probably, you look at it and you go, okay, it's a classic piece of watch design. It's not offensive in any way. It's not like, oh my god, that's ugly. But to me, is it worth the hype? And if you were offered one at retail and you want to take out of your head the equation of, well, of course you're going to take one because you can triple or quadruple your money instantly, taking that out of it, if it was just a case of, I don't know what, you can buy one at retail. Was it
Does anybody, I was
30,
going to say, does anybody actually know what the retail
30,
price is?
25, 35, who knows? God,
Yeah.
it's irrelevant anyway, but you can't get them. But I think they're in they're punchy for a stainless steel sports
Yes.
watch, full stop. But anyway, all the other stuff aside, if it wasn't accruing in value, would I be running out to buy one?
No.
There's plenty of other things that I would have before it. You can't, I'm not into flipping. Lots of people aren't, but if I don't think many people would arguably say if you're offered one at list, would you not take it? Of course you would take it, because you would. Even if you didn't want to sell it immediately, it's like you're never going to get that much increased value instantaneously from anything else. Even putting the money in the bank, you're not going to get that money.
Well,
back,
I would
so-
say instead of buying a Boutique at list, why don't you get a William Wood for free?
Look at that. Was that as smooth as butter, that link?
Smooth as butter. We don't need to know about your
smooth,
perversions. We've
No,
told you this before.
is butter smooth? I don't know. Yes, you can win this William Wood watch. All that's in this lovely case, I don't know if Ricky will do a close-up at some point of it. You can go and check the show notes to this and the article that reviews the watch as to how to enter to win it.
But what is it?
It is a William Wood Valiant. This particular
Valiant?
one...
Valiant?
I said Valiant. You said
Valiant, Valiant.
Valium?
Valium? Valium. Where's the Valium?
The Valium, the William Wood Valium for all your firefighting needs. So this is the one with the Swiss Salita movement. This is the more expensive one. It's also got a couple of NATO straps, a bracelet, and an alternate yellow fire hose rubber strap. Solid, really nice watch, and it's especially nice because it can be used for nothing. Or not quite nothing. It can be used.
There's a catch, Rick,
There is a catch. There's always a catch. So all you have to do is send us in a video review for the Unbox channel of one of your watches. If you send in more than one review, you get more than one entry. The only other rule is we will ship it anywhere in the world, but you're responsible for paying any import tax. So if you get
duties and VAT.
duties and all the rest of it, if you get selected as the winner, and we'll work out how you're going to win it, but to get an entry, you're going to need to send us a video. You can send that video, go check out the Unbox channel, it's all the kind of stuff that's on there. You can do a state of the collection, you can do actually something that is genuinely being unboxed, or you can just review something you already own and use and send the video link to info@scottishwatches.co.uk. And then whenever we feel like it, we'll close that competition and one of you will win this watch.
Funnily enough, the company asked for clarification on the whenever we feel like it part. So I
Strange that,
told
innit?
them, funny that. I
Details,
told them,
details.
minor details. I said a month.
A month
So
from
it's-
when?
From when we started it.
Okay.
A month from whenever we decide.
Exactly. So it's basically the same thing. So, but the reality is we're not expecting hundreds of people to suddenly film their watches and send them into us. I think we'll maybe get 20 odd entries. We've had a couple in already. So I think you've got a decent chance, especially if you can do it with a bit of humour,
the odds are going to be
entertainment.
pretty good.
It's £1,000 worth of watch with a case and with the carry case, etc. The travel case.
It's a really pretty looking watch, actually.
It is nice.
Is this the first time you've seen it in real life?
First time I've physically handled it, yeah. It's a great looking watch. It's kind of, we were talking about it earlier, it's got kind of a few vibes about it. It's definitely, it's not a homage piece, but it's got wee vibes of Black Bay about it. It's got wee vibes of...
Well, it's of the era for the vintage appliances, fire engines that they're kind of harking back to. And I've spoken with the guys from the company a couple of times now. They're doing a lot of charity work. They've released a couple of watches. They've done special editions. They're working with a foundation in the States, 9/11 Foundation, and they're also building a custom motorcycle with Solitaire motorcycles through in Edinburgh.
Nice.
All right.
So there'll be some information coming on that soon, and hopefully we'll get the guys on the show to talk about it as well.
So you're going to test drive that?
Maybe. Although, looking at your stature, since it's probably going to be like a big Harley Davidson thing.
Oh, you think I should have a shot?
Yeah.
I've never actually ridden a motorbike.
You what?
No?
I've never ridden a motorbike.
Motorcross bike, motorbike, no form of two-wheel transport.
No form, well, a push bike. No form, I've never even ridden a moped. There you go. So, and I'm not volunteering to go riding opinion with either of the two of you.
It might be an accident.
Got some ideas what we can do there. But there you go. Good competition. Something you can enter, something you can win for free. We should really finish that Bamford competition as well.
Yeah, what happened with that? Because we did close it.
Did we?
Yeah,
Oh,
we
we
did
need to
close
pick
it.
somebody then
Yeah.
that isn't O'Meara.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. But other good news is, although there have been no watch events, no meetups, no red bars, no globals, shows are coming back slowly but surely. And Dubai Watch Week are the first guys out the gate to announce a date, which I don't have to hand, but I know it's the last week in November. And everybody is looking forward to it. I was recently on one of the Watchbox programs, The Pulse, talking about it, with Mike, and everyone's just trapping at the bit to get out and about, meet again, instead of doing all, like you say, instead of all this Zoom nonsense that we've been doing for a while. So details will be in the show notes about Dubai Watch Week and other things that are happening towards the end of the year.
And hopefully over the next, 6 to 8 weeks probably, as things begin to kind of ease up, we should hopefully get back to having some meetups and red bars and all sorts of stuff again. Should be
Do you think if we said to Thierry Stern that, okay, that's great that you don't want to do Zoom, we'd really like to just have a meeting with you instead, do you think he'd take that? If we said, we agree with you, we think Zoom meetings are rubbish, let's just have a face, come sit down and we'll interview, do you think he'd accept? Or do you think it's just that he doesn't want to speak to anybody, Zoom or otherwise?
Well, as long as he's willing to bring 3 kind of green-faced
retail
watches with him, I'm sure it'll be fine.
We'll give it, if he does,
we'll consider it.
We'll give one of them away as a competition.
We'll consider it.
Yeah. Okay.
Why don't you email them and ask?
I think it's a great idea.
But you might get a reply from somebody that isn't actually the guy himself. Because there's a lot of email hacking going on just now.
Is there? Is there?
Yeah.
Do tell.
Have you heard about this
Leading
one? No, this isn't what you think.
Oh, is it not? Is this something different? All right, okay. I did wonder, because I'm sure that this, before we press record, the phrase was, we're not speaking about that. But there we go.
No.
No, this is another thing we are speaking about.
Right, okay.
So funnily enough, it has to do with Paul Thorpe. But it's not what we're not talking about. It's something else.
All right, okay.
So Paul's channel, which you obviously have seen before, you've seen or heard his interview when he came on our show, which was really good because you weren't on it again.
Yep.
We got right to the meat of the matter without any...
I was being held hostage, if you recall, at that particular point. I was the kind of human shield that was required by a certain boutique while he was on.
I think I edited that part out.
You did?
So
you don't get anything out of this one?
It's difficult when it's video, it may just get left in. People can draw their own conclusions.
Black square
but yeah, we're going to blur him out again.
Blur him out.
So his recent videos, with all the scams and all the things that we've been talking about, because we've had the guys from the Flying Squad on, I was trying to get Alex Conran from The Real Hustle on the show.
Oh, right, okay.
And he told me to fuck off.
You were really wanting to get the other member of the Real Hustle.
Was that the Hustle?
Oh, Paul.
No. I thought the Real Hustle you were particularly keen on, there was 3 people involved in that, and there was a lady that you were quite keen to get on.
Was I? When did I say that?
When did we say that?
I think you said that on the show, did you not?
Did I?
You said something about that you were quite enjoying rewatching the Real Hustle.
Didn't say I wanted to bring her on the podcast.
Well, no, but you didn't see you wanted to bring her.
Although, funnily enough...
Moving on. Right.
Funnily enough, you are sitting on a couch.
the best bit is he just opens the door himself, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah,
right, okay. Moving on.
So in the place we're filming this, we have a casting couch, and there actually is a bed over in the corner. It's a great East End of Glasgow studio. Draw your own conclusions, OnlyFans. So no, Paul's latest video, it's not who we're thinking. It is about another AD, funnily enough, and it's...
Is that you? Is this the noise your head makes on video when you're thinking about naming somebody or not?
I don't know the name of the AD.
Oh, right, okay.
But and he doesn't name it either. But basically, the AD had replied to Paul and somebody that was getting scammed to say, yes, we got hacked.
Oh.
Somebody got into our email, and that email that you got was not from us.
All right, okay.
The story goes, I mean, I'll copy a bit of the video in and you can check the link, but all these people are in touch with Paul because he's the guy that deals with all the scams and stuff online. And a guy had said, he contacted an AD looking for a watch and got an email back the next day or something saying, yes, the Rolex watches you're interested in, we have them in stock, first come, first served. Reply back to me and I'll give you details for pro forma invoices, yada yada. But because the guy stayed local to this AD, he just ignored the email and went in with the wife. Walked in and the staff were like, who the fuck are you?
All right, okay.
And then it turned out that the email had not come from the AD.
Yikes.
The ADs knew nothing about it. And then a couple of days later, separate from that, a mass email went out to all the contacts saying, yeah, our email systems got compromised, and a whole ton of emails went out that were nothing to do with us. Please ignore them, blah, blah, blah. And it goes to show, the thing we spoke about the last time was people were calling up BT Open World and having redirects put on phone numbers from ADs. It's easier to hack someone's email. It's easier to log into GoDaddy or Squarespace or whichever place they use for their hosting and get in amongst it. And then you've got the interception of the emails coming in for people with their contact details, expression of interest, which watches they're after. And it shows you how difficult it's going to be, apart from walking into your local AD. Don't deal with the phone, don't deal with email, don't deal with WhatsApp, just go in.
Yeah, or go in or if you know a contact number, make the phone call after the fact. You know, phone
They're
me.
redirecting phone numbers though.
Well, if you know someone who you're speaking to, though.
Would it not just be
if you've
easier
got
to
a contact
accept
there.
that if you're hearing anybody offering you a stainless steel sports
of the
Rolex,
blue.
it's not happening? Somebody's having
Fair.
a go.
Fair. Yeah, I mean,
It's the Rolex
ultimately
419 scam.
Yeah, the super safe way, as you say, is go visit them in person, and it's kind of hard to get conned that way, really. But yeah, these people will go out their way to get the money off you if they can.
Yeah.
Sadly.
I thought things would get easier now that lockdown's over and the online stuff maybe won't happen as much, but I think this was even an AD out in Spain. So it's happening all across.
Yeah, I mean, I think the danger is that so many kind of businesses jumped. When lockdown came in, they all panicked and they're like, right, crap, what are we going to do to keep business going? And it was like they've put in measures to keep business going that maybe haven't really been thought through in terms of vulnerabilities. I mean, without naming anybody, there's some big names that are doing it in a way that you think that's so easy and so open to abuse. Sending an email out just with some bank details saying, here's an invoice, pay it, with the best will in the world. It's challenging. There are luckily a few kind of safeguards now for online bank payments where you can check that the account named holder matches up. But even now they're saying be careful of that because that's easy to spoof. Well, not spoof, but depends what they've opened a false account in the name of. So you've got to be really careful.
There's no way, last resort,
A watch isn't worth it.
always pay by credit card.
Yeah,
At least, I think it's £100. As long as it's less than £30,000
and more than 100.
and more than £100, if you spend a proportion of your purchase on a credit card and the goods don't come through or it turns out to be a scam, you're protected for the full value.
Yeah.
All right.
More or less. There's some vague exceptions.
As long as you've done due diligence to make sure that you're not voluntarily.
And you don't need to put the whole value on it. So if you're buying a £10,000
Pay the
watch
deposit.
on the internet, pay the deposit via credit card. You can pay the rest in cash, doubloons, whatever you want.
NFTs.
NFTs. You can take this NFT and
Talking of NFTs.
Scott Coin.
No one wants them.
Fungible.
Fungible token. Then you're protected. So use a credit card, not a debit card. Has to be a credit card. There are some vague exceptions, so this is not financial advice. But use a credit card.
First time he appears on video and suddenly we're getting sued because he's pretending to be a financial advisor.
Always consult an independent
We
financial.
still have a picture now when they go to court. Is
That's
that your
true,
man?
yeah.
That's my man.
That's who did it.
It wasn't me, mate.
Yeah.
The usual suspects. Any other new watches we can chat about?
Ooh. Shall I consult my list? I'm squeaking.
That's what you say.
So you've consulted your little book. Find anything?
I have. I found what I'm having for my lunch. But yes, we haven't talked auctions and we haven't talked Tudor. Whether we're going to talk about either of those things, it's up to you. So what would you like to talk about next?
What do you know about Tudor? Because I know that you know nothing about Tudor.
Well, I am told.
What new watches have they coming out?
I am told that the new Marine Nationale tie-in is due on the 24th, 26th of May. Whether that's true or
Who told
false, somebody friendly said that they'd been told by somebody that they knew, but who knows if that's true. They were a good source last time.
What did they tell us last time?
They told us about the blue Black Bay. And they were correct.
Ralph.
No.
Oh.
No. Guess again.
Nearer home.
Okay. Right. Fair enough.
No. I don't know if either of you know them.
So we're just trying to get you to say the name so that we can get you sued again.
So yes, apparently the Marine Nationale, but I've not got any information on whether it's a Black Bay, whether it's a sub recreation from the Tudor sub,
did you see the
or whether it's
tease?
a P01.
Did you see the tease they did on Instagram that then disappeared?
No.
No.
So Tudor put up a story.
Oh, was that in like their South America or something?
It was on one of the Tudors. I can't remember
think
which
it's
one.
Tudor
But it was
Brazil.
one of the Tudor official IGs put up a story, and they didn't save it. So obviously 24 hours later, whatever, it disappeared. And it basically came up. First story was black screen. It just came up Tudor. Then the next screen it came up with the Marine Nationale logo. Then it came up Tudor X Marine Nationale. Then it showed a full clarity picture of a vintage.
Okay.
Then it showed a full. Then it showed.
Let's ask Denise. Does he say all the time? All the time. Perfect.
Excellent.
Dear.
So we'll carry
I
on.
thought I was bringing reinforcements by
Nope.
now today.
Hey,
Oh,
no,
no, wait,
to be fair,
she's
to be fair,
brilliant.
She's attacked me, never
To be
mind
fair,
you.
to be fair, She's taking you to task here.
Let's have a look at the footwear. Right.
So hang on. This is a pair of quality one-off New Balances, which have been described as.
They're from Skechers.
What department in Skechers specifically?
Like girls' schoolwear. Ages 6 to 9.
And this everybody is the crap that I have to put up with.
Yeah, because you don't give as good as you get at all, ever.
Well,
When you went to the toilet, she said, "I've never heard anyone swear quite as much."
I am outraged.
There was new words.
It's an outrage,
She
it's an
had,
outrage.
she had never heard these words before in Edinburgh, where she was born.
I resemble that comment.
Yes, you do.
Edinburgh, they don't swear in Edinburgh. They just
They get their
tut.
butlers to do it for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're like, Smythe, swear for me.
Anyway, watch
Anyway,
this.
Anywho.
So, and then what it did do though is it showed back to Tudor. It then showed a full
Yes,
picture of. that was a bit.
I know.
What's the film?
Yes,
2000.
Dave.
Yes, Dave. I'm afraid
Yes,
I can't.
Dave.
I'm
I'm
afraid
afraid
I can't
I
do
can't do that
I'm
for
afraid I can't. Jesus, take him out of the room. Showed a full picture of a vintage, kind of Marine National issue. Tudor Submariner,
okay, sub, yeah.
and it was a proper, unlike where they've previously done the little show a half in the dark little hand, like the PO1, you know,
Like the
everyone's like
P01.
PO1, oh, it's a sub. Oh no, it's not. It's I don't know what would it. I like it, but it's not. Let's just say it's not universally loved.
No.
So they showed a full picture of that, and then it just went to coming soon, and then that was it. So I mean, if it's not a new model, i.e. something based in the Submariner, then they're not being very subtle. You know, it's kind of a bit, this was unsubtle, but it's disappeared and you can't find it anywhere. I did mean to take screenshots, but I just assumed they would save the stories like they seem to save every other story, but this has vanished. So whether it slipped out, as you say, inadvertently,
I think it was
a faux pas.
There's something jogging my memory that this was a South American Tudor.
I know it was definitely true, but anyway, as I say, and it was like it came up. So who knows? But then that maybe also ties with the story and details. You know, I'm not going to get into details because I can't remember them.
Well, remember Tudor
but there was
last
a
year
story-
were the ones that put the photos. well, let's be careful what we say. Tudor's watches ended up on Instagram before the embargo
Yes.
date with little things saying, "Don't put these photos
Don't
on
put these-
Instagram."
Yeah, I mean that's probably that was more specifically the blue BB58, wasn't it? But I think that's probably one of the first times that retailers have had watches arrive with them before it had even been announced because they wanted them to be available on the day, which was great. So obviously, as soon as you do that, of course they're going to leak out. But the whole Submariner story might have some truth in it in regards to the Rolex parent, the family, the company, Rolex Group. There was some moves for them to trademark. It was Milsub.
Milsub was what they were trying to
Milsub, they claimed that they had rights to Milsub because it was theirs.
Because the Rolex.
It was theirs, and of course, walking about schwackling in the wind. But it then turned out, of course, that they've never actually used Milsub in a commercial manner. Milsub's actually a reference to the military specification that was used for US military contracts, and it's never actually been used for that. So let's be honest, if they bring a Tudor out that's a new Submariner, I would doubt they're going to call it Submariner on the basis that Submariner's so entrenched now in Rolex. But where they may be looking to call it a Milsub, that might tie up because you've got Marine Nationale, which is obviously a military unit. Maybe is this where Milsub's going? Who knows? But it would maybe potentially give a bit more credence to the fact that it's maybe going to be a new model, and it's maybe going to be because they've not a lot, other than the PO1, there's nothing new. I mean,
Rehash.
they've had Black Bays, but they've been about for a while now. BB58's been about for a while now. PO1, new, what's it now? A couple of years, 18 months, 2 years old now.
Well, they had the Sterling Silver one.
Yeah, but it's the same
different.
model. I should
Yeah.
say, the gold, the silver. There's not been a new model, and the PO1 really was a kind of pullback of something they found in the archives. But
Allegedly.
yeah. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
What's your info?
I'm leaning more towards that. There's going to be a new model. I don't.
As opposed to a P01 with a Marine National.
Yeah, to be honest, I would doubt it. The PO1 I think's already a fringe model. I can't see them doing additional models of it. It's not a model I think that is particularly regarded as in demand or hard to get. You know,
You got the silver one?
incoming.
Very good. I'm really looking forward to seeing that because that,
The silver one,
that
so
does actually
I've-
look like a good watch.
So I've seen the silver one in hand. It's really cool. Obviously the Black Bay and the Black Bay 58, the case is a combination of brushed and very polished. So, you know, the kind of edge of the case here is super polished. It's almost the wrong way around for me because, like, you know, a lot of watches, this face here will be the polished face and you'll have the edges that are polished.
Yeah.
Sorry, this face will be brushed and the other faces will be polished. Because, you know, that side obviously attracts nicks and dinks and stuff, but obviously on the Black Bays, that big flat plain side is polished, whereas the silver one is a kind of satin finish all over, which I think actually really changes the look and feel of it. And I like the kind of ambience of that. I think they're calling it taupe, aren't they? The colour they use for the dial and the bezel. I know a few folk have kind of gone, there is no bracelet because there's no bracelet option for it.
That's Ricky. Ricky was sorting out a bracelet.
Aye,
But
I'm your man.
bang it. But I think I'm not super keen on it on the leather. Personally, I think the NATO looks great now because
nice.
the NATO is that kind of colour coded taupe for the dial. But the interesting point I noted was the buckle. Pardon me, the buckle on the leather and the hardware on the NATO is 925 silver as well,
Yes, the whole thing is.
which is you know, it's like it is attention to detail that, to be fair, you would expect from Tudor stroke Rolex stroke that group. So it's really nice. It's great money.
The other thing about the Marine National coming is that Yema have just released a Marine National tie-in,
A new
course they have.
customer services number.
which
Yeah, and a French Air Force.
Yes, does strike me as either jumping on a bandwagon that somebody knows is coming, or a bit of bad timing, or somebody didn't sign the contract exclusively.
To be honest, I'd very much doubt that. I'd very much doubt that Yema had any heads up at all in what Tudor were doing, and they have done a few kind of French military issues, but I'm guessing the same as the British Armed Forces. The French Air Force or French Navy ain't going to let you use their logos and kind of aligning yourself with them without official permission. I mean, we know that lots of brands have got themselves into bother, especially brands unnamed that might have put, you know, broad arrows onto certain watches that maybe questions hadn't been asked beforehand. So, you know, I'm guessing the French military ain't going to just go, knock
Well,
yourself
to be
out.
fair,
Use our
the
logo.
French military not just surrender and just let them do what they want. No,
I mean,
that's
you know,
for Sophie.
history may
History
push in
repeats
this direction. You know.
So, what else have we got to tell folk before we go?
Well, you tell folk whatever the hell you like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since you're unmasked,
Unboxed.
You're unboxed.
Going back in it shortly.
You know, all the scars and stuff and the surgeries healed real
it's
well,
all
you know. So
healed well.
hopefully when this
The
video goes out, you know,
weight
like the
training.
various authorities that are after you won't recognise
Yeah,
you.
it was important to get that face-off thing.
Full recover. Yeah.
Face-off like John Travolta, Nick Cage thing sort of first. So yes, thank you for joining us. We will be back. What's running next after this? What have we got in the can?
Tons.
There's loads to come. There's loads
So we'll see you
online.
again in about 4
Your
months.
Sophie video will have dropped
Maybe
for
not.
Talker, or you've got some more with Pietro.
Pietro Raqueta stuff.
Yep.
Pietro Raqueta, so check out the Scottish Watches YouTube channel for that. You can check out Scottish Watches Live, where you will find the folk from Time of the Week. Whether you will find the Call the AD people or not will depend on whether a baby who is going to be named Pam, from what I understand, has been born. And then you can check out the Scottish Watches Unboxed channel, Unboxed community, where you can send in your videos, and if you send in your videos successfully and they're good and we like them and we vote for them, or however we decide to run the competition, you can win what's in front of us. So it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from all of them.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Shout goodbye, Christy.
Goodbye.